All right, welcome back to the podcast. This is Motivational Memories. I'm your host, Josh Honko. This podcast, if you've been watching, is about lessons that I have learned in my life that I want to document for my son in case I die or anything bad happens to me. I want to make sure that he has an accurate picture on the kind of man I am, the principles that I stand for, and lessons that I've learned that I hope he will absorb and take into the future. This is also for anybody who doesn't have a dad or a big brother that wants some lessons of times ahead or people that are ahead of you in life. I'm just further along. You're gonna get here. You might even have surpassed me, and that might be very much the case. But the main purpose is this for my son. It's also for me to look back and to realize how far I've come, and the lessons that I've learned, how they potentially could change, or my view of them could change over time. I think it's a really interesting way to kind of document. And if you don't have something like this, do it. This is my journal, for lack of better terms. So we're going to talk about a pretty boring topic today, money, and how to make money. This particular podcast, I'm going to talk about some of the business things that I've done and some of the principles that I believe that you can become wealthy. Now, it's a grind. It takes time. I personally, at this moment, don't consider myself wealthy. But if you look at where I'm at, globally or even here in the United States, I'm at least in the top 10%. Globally, definitely top 1%, maybe even top 0.5%. But I would say I'm in at least the top 10% for my age group. There's definitely people ahead of me. There's definitely people behind me. It's not to brag. It's not to say that I'm better than anyone else. I was afforded opportunities. I created some opportunities, and God's given me some abilities that not everyone has. Not everyone sees math and data or sees business opportunities the way I do. So I'm hoping that me documenting this and imparting it, hopefully you'll start to see these type of opportunities in your own life to make money and to generate wealth. I'm definitely not in the class of generational wealth yet. I don't think I've achieved that by any stretch. My grandparents did, and the reason I can say that is they helped me when I was younger. They paid for the first semester of college, but really, and from there on, I pretty much paid my own way. But they gave me lessons on how to make money, what to look for, how to think about business opportunities. Mostly their ideas were very conservative. Something I'm going to talk to today is not necessarily super conservative, but just a little background. I am an executive in several companies. I own equity in several companies. I straight out own a company. And something that is true that through most of my business dealings is this thing called arbitrage. And that sounds like a super fancy business word, but it's a pretty simple principle. So if you look at this little image over here, so you have the first market, right? And you either buy something from that market or you procure something from market A as investor, as broker, as partner in this, and then you sell it to market B once you've delivered some value, you've packaged it in a different way. That sort of thing. So there's a value delivery between market A and market B, but you're not having to create the initial product. You're just upgrading the service or product and then repackaging and selling it. I do this in a few different areas. I work as a logistics I work at a logistics brokerage. We are not moving the shipments, nor do we the person shipping. We connect the two. We also add some value in services between that, like financing. For example, most trucking companies, they need their money now. Most shippers can't pay now. So brokers will kind of bridge that gap financially with, quick paying or paying faster the carrier and then billing the customer later. So that difference in time is a value add. It helps the system work. That's one example. Another example is AirBNB arbitrage, where you go and get a rental property. You tell them, hey, look, I want to put this on the short-term rental market. I'm going to lease it from you. You list it on the short-term rental market, and you get more money out of it because you're turning more clients. And what your value that you're adding there is access to a different market, so kind of the market A, market B thing. And you're also, by getting into that access, you're having to change things out. You're having to manage people, appointments that the market A person really doesn't want to do. There's a lot of people that, I'm just cool with long-term rentals. I don't want to mess with the day-to-day of a short-term rental or the risk of it. But the investor's like, you know what? I want to do it. I don't have access to it, but I can do it. And you can make really good money doing that. Another way is outsourcing. So I help companies outsource to the Philippines. So I have connections to the Philippines. I know that market really well. I know the people really well. I know how to interview in that particular market. So going there, I pitch a service or pitch a job that I found here in the US. Then I go to that job and say, hey, look, I can do that job for cheaper. Because I'm outsourcing, I upcharge because I'm writing scripts, I'm doing sales, I'm doing a lot of different stuff. I'm handling the invoicing, the payments, all of that. So I create a upcharge for that. And then I pay the fair market value for the contractor so that they're happy. The customer's happy because they're getting a good client. I'm happy because I'm making more money. And that's the business model, right? Because there's a portion of each thing that the other person doesn't want to do. But by being the connector and being the person who arbitrages it together, there's value to be had. It's a really easy way to get into a business if you don't have something to create or you're not the buyer at the end trying to deliver to market, right? So it's the easiest way to get into something with little to no money. Arbitrage, handling business deals, being the broker, finding the deals. There's a ton of value in that because people don't want to, it's hard work. It's not easy. If it was easy, everyone would do it and there wouldn't be anybody available for arbitrage. It's not easy, but you can do it. There's a lot of people that that operate in that industry, right? For real estate, for logistics, for business services. There's a ton of value in that sector and it's scalable most of the time. A lot of hard work. You're subject to the market. You're subject to market prices. Commodities trade is another one where you're buying commodities from one person. You're finding a seller for that. You get a commission for putting and packaging the deal together. A lot of times there's financing involved. So, I've done arbitrage where I'm helping companies raise money. I'm helping connect people. And that's what I've built my career on. And like I said, I've made good money. I'm making good money currently. I have money in the bank. Do I consider myself wealthy? Not by a long stretch. I'm definitely not completely financially independent. I have to work. But I've also gotten into a lot of equity deals doing this. And that's another way, doing arbitrage for people. It's a good way to build sweat equity. A lot of companies need deal makers, and you can get 5 or 6 or 7 companies that you have 10, 15%. Now, the rule of thumb is when it comes to, startups, it's a 10% success rate, usually about 90% attrition. So 90% of the businesses are going to go out of business. So you need to find at least 9 different companies or 10 companies over your course of your career. Excuse me, it's very late. To get equity in, and one of them's going to hit. And it only takes one. It only takes one deal. And every time you have a failure, you get that much closer to that one deal. Now, you could be the 1 in 20. Could be the 1 in 100. You could be Thomas Edison, who performed 100 different experiments before he found the filament for the incandescent light bulb. That could be you. So you keep working, but it's the law of big numbers. Eventually, something is going to be successful. Eventually, so long as you do the process of evaluation, the process of making sure it's a good deal. So Koa, if you follow in my footsteps and go into business, try to do this. Now, this works in life too. Friendships, relationships, marriage. People always look to see what value you bring to their life. When you're attracting a spouse or you're making friends, they want to know a little bit, unless they're just a wonderful, beautiful person. How is this person helping me? What's in it for me? And it might be, I enjoy this person's company, but that's value to them. It's valuable because you make them happy. You make them enjoy life. So always keep this in mind that, in business dealings, in personal dealings, if you can figure out what makes people happy or what makes them tick, you can essentially arbitrage that and find different ways to make them happy by proxy, right? You don't necessarily have to be the end result. An example of this, your mother loves plants. I'm not a gardener. So I go out and I go to Market A, Lowe's, and I buy plants. And then I gift it to Market B, your mom. And that makes her happy. That's my ROI, right? So it's not necessarily gifts. It could be whatever love language that person possesses. But this principle of using Market A to satisfy Market B, using this to satisfy that, that is the fundamental thing in all relationships. What am I using to satisfy what market? What market am I, acquiring stuff from? What market am I selling back into? Right? And at the root end of that, I need to generate money to be able to buy the plant. So there's like a third market that's involved in this. If you can think about these principles and you think about how everything kind of ticks together, you can see very quickly where the value needs to be derived and where it's not being derived. The people who make the most money go where they could see value being added that is not currently added. So if you can go in and make that happen, that's where you can make a lot of money. Lot of money. That's what a lot of vertical SaaS companies are. It's what a lot of different companies that specialize in software try to do. Try to fill the gaps. They try to make market A and Market B as close together as possible. For example, I don't know if it's going to be around by the time you're seeing this video, but a crypto market's like that. One of the values of a crypto market is to be able to exchange very quickly. So they're able to bring Market A and Market B closer together, and they're able to, deliver value that way. So in this model of interacting markets and arbitraging between interactive markets, there's a lot of different ways to deliver value. You might already be in an arbitrage situation. So how can you make Market A and Market B closer together? That could be a way that you make money and monetize. This principle is true in a lot of things. This principle is true in a lot. So don't look at this as just a money thing. Don't look at this as just a business thing. It is definitely that. But there's other principles that go along with this. There really are. I'm going to be pretty close to getting our first real estate property this year. So long as the market cools down a little bit. Cools down a little bit. And then after we have a few properties, we're going to start arbitraging. Going to people who have properties that have been on the market a while, properties that, just aren't moving, and move them to the short-term leasing to generate revenue, right? And the value is the owner of the building gets a longer term lease, so they have less risk in this, and they're partnering with a business. So when you partner with a business, it's easier to go after people for money. If someone messes up your Airbnb and it's a person, it's kind of tough. But if it's an Airbnb and you Airbnb it to a business, it's really easy to go after the business legally. So it's a good way to protect. So that's it. This is going to be a short video today. That's the basic principles. Try to figure out arbitrages. It's a good way to make cash flow. It's a good way to make short-term money. Brokering. There are a lot of different environments in which you can broker deals or broker situations or broker just more customers, right? If you can do this, you will make a lot of money. So that's it. All right. So thank you so much for watching. If you've watched this far, thank you so much. Please like, comment, share the stream. My hope and prayer is that these lessons help one person. If I help one person, I will be ecstatic and very helpful. And I hope that person is, my son. But if anyone else finds this helpful, thank you so much. Please like and share if you think this is helpful and want to get it out to more people. So I really appreciate it. I hope you have success in life and in business. Have a good one.